Yo, this is gonna be the fastest Wuthering Waves tier list on YouTube. There's a lot of websites and YouTube videos that take like an hour long or 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna waste your time. As always, I'm gonna speedrun this tier list while trying to be as reasonable as possible. So the tier list will go from D to S plus tier, and I'm gonna start with Spectral Rover and I'm gonna put him at A tier. I think that Spectral Rover is very good, and I also think he will get more synergy in the future. We're also getting another Spectral DPS soon, and I think that A tier is fitting for him. But what blows him from the S tier is the Havoc Rover, because Havoc Rover, in my opinion, is S tier for sure. His ultimate is basically a nuke. He can buff the Echo Dreamless and give her 50% more damage, and I will easily put her at S tier. Verena is easily an S plus tier. She's the best support of the game. She can heal, she can buff, and also she can prevent you from getting one shot. Verena is very good in almost every single team. Now for Encore, there's one problem with Encore, and I'm thinking between A and S tier, but I'm gonna put her in S tier because her damage is very good. The only problem with Encore is that she doesn't counter, but you can counter with plunge attack. If you master this and you know how to swap in the right moment, actually I think that Encore deserves the S tier now. Her damage is insane. Same thing with Calcharo. He is an S tier DPS. He's very good. He's also so fun, and with Yinling coming to the game, she actually made him way better. Janjin was very controversial before starting the game. A lot of people said that she's a C tier. Some people said that it's a B tier. I think that Janjin is an S tier character easily, to be honest. One of the best reasons that makes her an S tier character is that she can play a lot of roles. You can use her as a support, you can use her as sub DPS, you can use her as a main DPS. She does good damage as a main DPS. She's not the best, but she's good. The best playstyle that I think for her is the support DPS. You can try to switch for her and try to make her give you the buff because she gives a 38% resonance liberation damage. And the only problem that doesn't make her an S plus tier is the amount of time that she takes to use her Forte circuit. Other than that, she's an S tier support. Ling Yang, a lot of people say that this is a G tier character. In my opinion, Ling Yang deserves the B tier, to be honest. And since we got an Electro buffer and also a Fusion buffer, we will get a Glacial buffer, and I actually believe that he will be an A tier unit in the future. But let's talk with what we have now. We actually already have a Glacial buffer. At C6, Baija can be a good buffer for him, and also I think his damage and his value deserves a B tier. This character can work in almost every type of content, and I do think that he's the worst standard character in the game, but he's not a D or C tier, to be honest. Jian, the best DPS in the game. Easy DPS, he makes the game easy. I think he's fun at the start, but then he became kinda boring, but it doesn't matter if he's boring or not. Not only for his damage, because this is not only a damage tier list, he makes countering very easy with his ultimate, and his damage output is very good. Yinling, best sub DPS in the game, S plus tier easily, and she's very future proof. In the future, she will be better and better once we get more Electro characters. These are the 5 stars, let's move to the 4 stars. Danjin. Now the only problem with Danjin is that she's probably the hardest character of the game. She uses her HP, and it's not easy to play as her, but you can use her with Jiantian to get a good shield and some heals. If you don't have dupes for Danjin, I think she's an A tier unit. Her damage is good, and if you got her S3 and above, I think she's easily an S tier unit. A lot of people say it's an A tier or a B tier character. To be honest, I think Danjin is one of the best characters, and she's an S tier unit for sure. Also, I see so many people put Alto at C tier, and I also think that he deserves the C tier when we talk about A0 Alto. But the main thing with Alto, if you get dupes and you also know how to position and use your clone, the game becomes so easy with Alto. I think that we should utilize that, and I think that he even has the potential to be A tier. If there is like a tier between A and B, I will put Alto there, and I believe that he's not a bad character. Now Chissa is very tricky when it comes to dupes. When you don't have dupes for her, I think she's a B tier, but she's an amazing DPS, guys. Of course, any gunner makes the game easier. That's a +1 for her, but also her damage also with dupes is super good, and I think she's very fun to play. Of course, I'm not gonna compare her with other DPSs in the S and S plus tier. She's not at their level. Without dupes, she's surely a B tier, A tier with dupes. Now for Tauchi, I think without dupes, she can even be a D tier character. And with dupes, for now, I still think she's like between C and B tier. But also, I still think that she does have so much potential that she can go super higher with new characters maybe, so I will put her B tier for now. For Mortefi, without dupes, I put him A tier. With full dupes, at least at C5 or S5, I'll put him easily at S tier. He's like Shinchu in Genshin Impact. I don't think this guy is gonna fall off. This guy is gonna be always at S or at least A tier for the rest of the game. The only problem with him, he doesn't have a lot of synergies now, but I'm pretty sure in the future we'll get more characters that works with him. Now I have a problem with Yuan Wu. I personally think that he doesn't deserve really to be built. You might consider this at S6, but I still cannot see his value now. In the future, I can see him being B tier because of his unique kit and his niche. He might even exceed that, but for now he's B tier without dupes, easily C tier, and he cannot be even more than that. Next is Sanhua. I think that Sanhua is probably, with dupes, the best 4-star character. She provides great value for the team, and even without dupes, she doesn't fall off as hard, but she gets a huge improvement with dupes. Why am I talking about characters with no dupes? Because we're actually still early in the game. If you have her between S0 and S2, she's an A tier character, and more than that, she's basically S tier. Baizhu with dupes or without dupes is an A tier character. She's a good healer, she becomes a glacial buffer, she only utilized that with Lingyang for now, but you actually can use her instead of Verena in so many cases. For Yang Yang, I think that Yang Yang improves a lot with the dupes. Especially in Tower of Adversity, there's a lot of mobs, you need someone to group. Now of course Gianna Genshin do a good job at that, but also she gives good buffs, energy and shit with her dupes. But I think she does have good value. You might say that I'm being positive about the characters, but to be honest, I don't think there is a bad characters, especially with dupes in this game. At least for 4 stars of course. 5 stars at S0 are amazing. But of course this tier list can be debatable. You can put Sisha in the top of B tier, you can move Alto here and there. But the most important thing in all of that is that if you don't subscribe now, you're gonna lose your 50-50. Bye bye.